Say 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome into Rover Sports here. It is the day after the NFL draft, and we are going to now talk about specifically the New York Football Giants. They drafted number 2, my New York Giants. I'm excited to talk about this football team. I have with me my co-pilot, my co-host, Bruce the Sports Doc. He's going to be teeing me up with some questions. Welcome into Rover Sports. And
good to be here at Rover Sports. Certainly, Sports Sunday, very eventful draft. The Giants had a lot of work to do, and I think they accomplished it. Many people gave them an A. So we have to take the top of the big board, Mr. Saquon Barkley.
Exactly. And for each team, I'm going to be doing a video. So even though you might want to talk about Baker, about Sam Darnold, we're going to keep this 10-minute video strictly on the New York Football Giants. So first pick of the draft, Saquon Barkley was taken, and I have to say I absolutely love the pick. I love the pick because I trust Davis Webb and because the New York Giants need to run the football. I mean, the Giants haven't had a running back since Ahmad Bradshaw, since Brandon Jacobs, Tiki Barber. The Giants and Ben McAdoo, they never could run the ball. They couldn't sustain toughness on the ground. And Saquon Barkley, you can plug him into the offense as a rookie. Running backs in this league, their lifespan's about 6 to 8 years. I hope Saquon can play more 8 to 10 years. But as a rookie, you should be an impact player immediately. Look at Alvin Kamara, impact player. Look at Kareem Hunt last year. Ezekiel Elliott. As a rookie, this guy could be in the MVP conversation from day one because as a rookie in the NFL at the running back position, your expectation now is to come in and be an immediate contributor on this team. I love Saquon. There's really not a lot of bad you could say about Saquon Barkley. What did you think about this Giants pick yourself?
Well, I think, number one, he could thank certain people like Ezekiel Elliott because there was a trend of staying away from running backs at the top of the draft. Ezekiel Elliott changed everything. And you could see when he was suspended last year, the Dallas Cowboys fell off the map. So you're looking at you're looking now at Saquon Barkley. You have a guy who totally tore up the combine. So as far as measurable speed, power, the interviews, he's just a solid guy. He's a hard worker. And look at the Giants. You're in the NFC East. You're playing in a wind tunnel, which is called MetLife Stadium. So in order to win an NFC East, you got to ground and pound. You can look at the great Giants teams. They always had good running, and they've gotten away from that the last few years. They've had, obviously, poor offensive line play, but it all starts up front with the running back. So I personally think it was a no-brainer. And one of the funny things is the Giants were going to make their pick immediately. So Dave Gettlemen actually wanted to spend exactly 0 seconds on it. But do you know why he had to hesitate?
Because the NFL says you have to wait 5 minutes?
You know why? Because they had to show clips of Baker Mayfield just to extend the broadcast. They wanted to show all the clips for the Browns.
And the Giants were flying
frankly,
right
that's
up with
the only
the pick.
thing people, if you look at the viewers, they only tune into the front part of the broadcast. So Gettlemen, he wasn't listed in trades.
Yeah,
he was drafting Saquon. And yes, I think it was a very good pick. And always barring injury, I think he's going to have a solid 10-year career.
Dave Gettlemen, I'll tell you what about Dave. He doesn't care about anybody else. He's his own person. He's his own self. And that's what makes Dave Gettlemen so dang special as a general manager.
He's not analytics. I heard Ray Didinger talking about Dave Gettlemen, and you would have actually liked it because Didinger's a Philly guy.
Yeah.
He said Gettlemen is old school. He believes in the eye test.
In the
and
tape.
Saquon Barkley, he is not an analytics guy. In fact, he's great. He's hysterical. And I love to see a guy, much like Tom Coughlin, very much old school.
Yes, and the thing about Saquon Barkley is he's going to make Eli Manning's job just so much easier because, Eli Manning, he's not built to throw it 45, 60 times a game. With the old regime, they would have him throwing it 60 times a game. That's never been Eli's game. The sweet spot with Eli Manning, the G spot, the sweet spot.
The giant spot. Don't get any ideas, people. We're talking G-Man spot.
is 25 to 35 throws. When he was winning Super Bowls, okay, in 2007, I'm not going to say he was a game manager, but he'd only be throwing it 25 to 35 times, and all those throws would count. They weren't. Eli Manning's known to turn the ball over, so a lot of them are play action passes, throwing the ball deep, utilizing Eli's better than average arm strength, and pushing the ball down the field off of play action. And Pat Shurmur's offense is very intuitive. There's a lot of different schematical advantages that you could have within the offense. And now you look at Odell Beckham, who's going to be harder to cover, Saquon Barkley running the football, along with Wayne Gallman and another package of backs. I love this move by the New York Giants. Instead of drafting a backup quarterback, they went with the guy that everybody wanted, which was Saquon Barkley. And instead of drafting a quarterback, which I think would have been a bust in Sam Darnold, they made a very wise decision.
I think so. And also, as far as the morale of the team, the morale of the fans, certainly last year, the benching of Eli Manning, for Geno Smith, God forbid, just was turbulent. It was a terrible year for the Giants, and it just made it worse with that. Here you have stability. You have Eli for another 2 to 3 years. You draft a quarterback way down who you're really grooming a backup quarterback.
I guess we can get into that pick.
We'll get into that. Maybe we could just jump to the bottom of the draft.
I mean, but I wanted to first start off with the second round pick because as nervous as I was about Dave Gettlemen, I actually could mind read what Dave Gettlemen was going to do with the second pick because he loves hog mollies. He loved guys that are physical, and a guy that checked every box, a guy that's going to be one of my favorite players, knock on wood, for years to come, is Willy Hernandez from UTEP. And this guy is an absolute mauler. He looks like a house, and he's going to be put at guard. He's an athletic kid. He's going to bull rush guys, and he is going to bring Giants football back. So as pumped as I was about Saquon Barkley, just as pumped about Will Hernandez, and I was so nervous when the Browns were on the clock that the Browns, with the first pick of the second round, were going to take Will Hernandez, and like Saquon Barkley, we couldn't get that card in fast enough.
And there's one reason. Well, there's actually a few, but there's one main reason for Willy Hernandez. You know what that is?
What?
A guy named Fletcher Cox, right in the division. You need a big house because Fletcher Cox is going to wreak havoc, and you need to fight.
He will destroy that house.
As I always say, iron sharpens iron.
Timmy Jernigan's too.
It's a very good.
You know how Gettleman builds.
You need somebody leading. Certainly leading the rush. Leading the blocking, and the Giants have had revolving doors. Is Mr. Flowers still on the team?
Luckily, well, he actually I don't think got traded yet, but his standing on the team is very turbulent.
We could call it tenuous. He's ice fishing on what? What kind of ice?
Concrete.
Thin ice.
Exactly.
I am going to. I have to actually go to another studio, and I'm gonna bail you out. I'm gonna make a delivery run, but I'm gonna let you continue because I know the fans want to hear.
Do you want me to go get the delivery?
Not necessary. I got this. You're in charge here.
Right.
I want to thank everybody.
You're making excuses on us.
I hope when I come back, you're still
we're gonna miss you, buddy.
I know. Listen,
we're gonna miss you.
I know there's a lot to talk about.
Get out of here.
I'm out of here. Vladimir.
Get out of here, brother. All right, we thank Bruce Sports coming in here doing a heck of a job. I'm going to talk about the other picks for the New York Giants, and then I'll tell you the whole scope. Lorenzo Carter, third-round pick for the New York Giants. I really thought Josie Jewell would go higher. He went in the fourth round to the Denver Broncos. But I look now at this pick at Lorenzo Carter. This guy is really fast. I think he ran in the 4.4s in the combine. He had an amazing combine. He was incredible on the bench press, running. He played at Georgia under Kirby Smart, an amazing defense. And guess who else played at the University of Georgia? Oh, none other than Alec Ogletree. So these guys are going to be like two peas in a pod. These guys are going to be like brothers the minute they step on the campus. So he has an older uncle now, Uncle Ogletree, and nephew Lorenzo Carter. It's going to be fantastic. I love for those guys to get in the building. Then we draft a defensive tackle from North Carolina State who also played on the line of scrimmage with Bradley Chubb, and that is B.J. Hill. It was one of Joel Klatt's 10 sleepers. B.J. Hill's going to come in there. He's going to stuff up the middle of the football field. Now it's Snacks Harrison, Dalvin Tomlinson, and B.J. Hill. We also got another kid from Miami later in the draft that I think is going to be a good football player for us as well. And then one of the splashiest picks of our entire draft class, of the Giants draft class, is Kyle Lauletta. And I've been on record as saying this on this show, that of all the guys in the NFL draft, out of all the quarterbacks, I would take Kyle Lauletta, and I'd probably take him third in the draft class. I have Baker Mayfield. I have Baker. I have Josh Rosen. And then I would take Lauletta over Sam Darnold, over Lamar Jackson, and maybe on the same pedestal as Josh Allen. That's how much I believe in Kyle Lauletta's game. This guy's a born leader from the Naval Academy, lacrosse player, switches over to football, brilliant leader, great team guy, very similar in his intangible value to Davis Webb. He is just a teammate on the field. And as a Davis Webb fan, I believe that Davis now has stark competition with Kyle Lauletta. As much as I love Davis Webb, if Lauletta beats him out, I will believe in Lauletta full-heartedly, because I know that both Webb and Lauletta, at some point in their NFL careers, I believe that both of them can be quality starters. So the New York Giants plucked a quarterback that I had almost a first or second round grade on, and they got him in the fourth round, which was also brilliant. So if I had to talk about this whole draft class, I'm going to give this an A, almost an A+. I mean, getting Willy Hernandez and Saquon, I didn't think Hernandez was going past the 20th pick. To have him sitting there at 34, that was a flat-out steal. Then going up and getting Lorenzo Carter, another guy who you thought could have left, and then getting B.J. Hill. These were both guys with second-round grades at positions that we needed. We addressed the offensive line, the New York Giants did. So now you have Nate Solder, Brett Jones, Willy Hernandez. You now have some dudes on that offensive line. And now John Jerry's going to be pushed out. Eric Flowers, he might be a right tackle. You're going to have competition at these positions. The Giants are now a viable contender. And with Saquon, Odell, Roger Lewis, and Evan Ingram, this is going to be a team to be reckoned with. The Hernandez pick was incredible. I'd give that a 10 out of 10. Saquon, 10 out of 10. Lorenzo Carter, I'd probably give an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. B.J. Hill looking like a 9 out of 10. Dave Gettlemen crushed it. He was awesome. He drafted big guys, maulers, no skill positions, no flashy players, except for Kyle Lauletta, and that is why I give this Giants class. That's why it's different than a Jerry Reese draft, because we are really stacking up on the offensive line, and that's what the New York Giants are doing. I thought that the draft was picture perfect by Dave Gettlemen. Saquon, Hernandez, a dream 2 picks, and I thought it was excellent work by the New York